Tesla has always marched to the beat of its own drum, often quick to unleash boundary-pushing software on the public while generally sticking to its own timeline on new hardware introductions. It made us wait a good long while for the first major update to its Model 3 sedan. But the new 2024 Tesla Model 3 Highland is finally here. With a freshened-up face and tail, comprehensively improved interior, and more subtle changes, we immediately lined the new one up against the old one and conducted a comparison test. Fundamentally, we want to see if this new one is a true update or just a warmed-over facelift, and whether it's worth considering over the old one. A couple of things to note. Typically, for these comparison tests, we have instrumented figures for both models. However, Tesla only provided us with Highland Model 3s, leaving us to rent our own old Model 3 for comparison. That rental was set to chill mode, and the owner locked it that way so we couldn't take it over 90 miles per hour or unleash peak acceleration, precluding full instrumented testing. Additionally, our comparisons are great tools for cross-shopping current competitors, but besides lacking comprehensive test figures, this is the rare motor trend comparison conducted between a new model and the car it replaces. It's instructive to compare what we saw and how we felt in driving the Model 3s back-to-back, as it best shows how changed the Highland really is. Tesla left the Model 3's battery and motors alone, so no, there are no changes to the core mechanicals. Even so, the new Model 3 should be more efficient, according to Tesla. This is all due to its updated exterior design that focuses mightily on decreasing body panel gaps, tightening up body sealing, and improving aerodynamics. In fact, all the sheet metal on the Highland, with the exception of the rear fenders and doors, is new. No doubt to keep the look all in the family. The original Model 3 made its debut with shrunken-down styling from the larger Model S. That resulted in the old 3's slightly frog-like appearance, which the Highland effectively does away with. The headlights are slimmer, the fog lights have been removed, and there's now a single center cooling inlet rather than the multiple inlets like on the earlier car. The top edge of the hood kicks up slightly more at the windshield to better direct air over it, and new underhood cowling further cuts down on wind noise. The old Model 3 wears split taillights, half on the trunk lid, half in the rear quarter panels, and a body-colored lower rear bumper. The Highland's redesigned taillights are entirely integrated into the trunk lid, with a powered liftgate as standard, and live above a more aggressively diffused rear bumper that Tesla says cuts down on rear-end lift at high speeds. Other changes include new base 18-inch wheels with a new wheel cover design and a new wheel cover design for the optional 19-inch wheels, pictured here. Two new paint colors join the lineup, Stealth Gray and Ultra Red, the latter of which is reminiscent of Mazda's lovely Soul Red crystal metallic paint. Shut the Highland's door, and you'll notice an immediate change. The thunky's reassuring and solid, less tinny and carrying more bass. A good sign. It is evidence of how focused Tesla is on sound deadening in the new car. In addition to the acoustic glass the old Model 3 came with on its front half, the Highland now implements the stuff on its rear windows, too. Minimalism is still a core interior design theme in the 3, but there are visual enhancements. The wood trim is gone, replaced by a mix of colors and textures on the dash topper, including a new wraparound ambient lighting feature that's fully color adjustable. Door cards use different materials. The perforated front seats stay, but they're ventilated for cooling now. A worthy upgrade if you live somewhere warm. Apparently, Model 3 customers were happy enough with the floating center screen that it stayed around. The difference here is the bezel is a bit slimmer and the screen itself is brighter and more responsive. You notice this especially when driving at night. However, the screen still isn't as customizable as we'd hoped, so we weren't able to move different apps around if we weren't using them, though you can set shortcuts to a handful of apps across the bottom of the display. Also, the cabin still lacks a head-up display or separate driver screen, which would have been helpful, as checking one's speed still requires a distracting glance away from the road at the central touchscreen. Perhaps the headline change is the Highland's new stockless steering wheel. All turn signal, lighting, windshield wiper, and cruise control functions have been relegated to steering wheel buttons with haptic feedback, and the transmission selector is now on the touchscreen. Should the screen freeze or fail at any point, though, there are PR&D buttons on the ceiling near the hazard buttons. Those work all the time, so if you absolutely hate the screen, you can use the ceiling. Or you can rely on the beta predictive directional control feature that's trickled down from the Model S and X, which guesses which way you want to go when entering the car and pulling away.